welcome back to another video on the Football Zone and to a weekend review reviewing Premier League and the last round of the Championship action. And let's get straight into it with Wolves, and they took on Aston Villa at Molineux and they came on 1-1 on top in the derby, and it was an early goal, Totti in the 10th minute, which gave them the win. And yeah, after that Villa probably had more of the game, but you'd expect that being behind for 80 minutes. But yeah, Wolves in the end holding up for a win. It just shows what good job Lopetegui done. Emery will be frustrated because it kind of does feel like Villa's European challenge petering out a bit. But moving on into Spurs 1, Palace 0 at White Hart Lane, and it was Harry Kane with a goal in first half stoppage time. And yeah, Tottenham just about showed you this one. I would say definitely deserved to get the win here. Good win for them. Keeps them in good touch for the European places, although it does look very close around that sort of area there. But yeah, Crystal Palace in 12th. Disappointing result for them, but yeah, their season's kind of just placed out now into kind of lower mid-table really. But moving on then to Manchester City, and they defeated Leeds 2-1 at the Etihad. And yeah, it was 2 goals from Gundogan in the 19th and 27th minute. The City had a penalty which Gundogan took. Haaland gave him permission to take it. Pep Guardiola was not happy about that, and he ended up missing it. And yeah, Leeds, they were nearly made to pay because Leeds got a goal back, but in the end they just about held on, and yeah, to a deserved victory. But you know, only 2-1 loss for Big Sam on his return to management. I think there are definitely positive signs to take from there for Leeds as well. But yeah, survival's looking tough now with other results. But move on then to Bournemouth 1, Chelsea 3 at the Vitality. It was Conor Gallagher who gave Chelsea the lead in the 90th minute before Vigneault in the 21st minute equalised. But goals in the second half from Buddy Shield and João Felix, 82 and 86, gave them the win. And yeah, Chelsea just about shaded the game. And yeah, it's a big win for them. Just for Frank Lampard, really, not to have like 7 consecutive losses or something like that. For Bournemouth, it's a disappointing result. But yeah, luckily for them, they're all but safe now, aren't they? And it just shows what a great job they've done. But moving on then to Liverpool 1, Brentford 0. Good result for the Reds as they continued their late charge for the Champions League push. And it was Mo Salah in the 13th minute who got them the win. And yeah, it's dominant here, really. To be honest, I think they probably should have won by more. But yeah, it is what it is. Great win for Liverpool. 3 points is all that matters. For Brentford, frustrating result. And yeah, it does look like they'll miss out on Europe, unfortunately. But yeah, for Liverpool, good win. United faltering. Yeah, they really are hunting down that Champions League spot. Moving on into Newcastle 0, Arsenal 2 at St James's Park, and it was Odegaard in the 14th minute who gave them the lead, and Cher an own goal in the 71st minute, sealing the win for Arsenal. Newcastle were going to have a penalty, but that was overturned. It wasn't handball, so yeah, right decision. And yeah, in the end, not a good lot in this game, but Arsenal really being clinical and got a very good win. Would it be too late? Probably. But yeah, I mean, it's still very positive signs for the future. But moving on into West Ham 1, Manchester United 0. And yeah, this has kind of really put the cat amongst the pigeons. In the Champions League battle, Manchester United faltering now, really, and Liverpool breathing down their necks. So yeah, it's concerning. 2 losses in the trot for Manchester United. It's Saïd Benrahma in the 27th minute that gave them the goal. And yeah, West Ham getting a win. And yeah, I mean, they're pretty much safe now, aren't they? 3 points, 7 points ahead with 3 games to go. But moving on into Fulham 5, Leicester 3, start of a crazy Monday in the Premier League. It was Willian, Vinicius and Kearney who made it 3-0. Kearney 4-0. Barnes 59th minute made it 4-1. Jamie Vardy in the 66th minute missed a penalty. Willian made it 5-1 before Madison scored a penalty and Barnes made it 5-3. Yeah, like I say, crazy game. And yeah, to be honest, the stats say there wasn't much in it, but Fulham played really well here. Ending the season quite strongly for a team that's on the beach. But for Leicester, yeah, their survival hopes are looking very tough now. Moving on then to Brighton 1, Everton 5 at the Amex. Decore with 2, still with an own goal in the 35th minute before Dwight McNeil made it 4-0 incredibly. Alexis McAllister 4-1, but McNeil again in the 96th minute made it 5-1. Yeah, just absolutely incredible. And yeah, it's once again the stats that say Brighton dominated this, but they lost 5-1 at home. It's a result that came out of nowhere. It's a massive one for Dyche, and all of a sudden their survival hopes are looking a lot better. So they'll be absolutely delighted with that. But yeah, for Brighton, I don't know, it just came out of nowhere, this performance. But moving on then to Nottingham Forest 4, Southampton 3 at the City ground, and yeah, another crazy game. Forest went 2-0 up early on before Alcaraz pulled one back. Gibbs White then made it 3-1, Lianco 3-2, and Delino 4-2 before Ward-Prowse scored a goal to make it 4-3. There was also a disallowed goal for Forest. But yeah, the stats like in this one again would say Southampton kind of dominated. Forest maybe had the best chances, got them over the line, but it's a big 3 points for them. Southampton, they were already down, but let's face it, they're definitely down now. For Forest, they've got a great chance of staying up. But moving on into the final day of the Championship season and starting off at the Liberty Stadium with Swansea taking on West Brom. And yeah, West Brom still had a faint chance of getting in the pass, but it was them who took the lead in the 13th minute before Swansea equalised in the 26th minute. Ajayi made it 2-1 to West Brom, but goals from Natcham and a late one from Pirro made it 3-2. By that point, West Brom's hopes had kind of already faded. But yeah, I mean, good win for Swansea. They ended the season on a high, but for West Brom, disappointing. And yeah, you feel like they've got a lot of work to do. But moving on then to Burnley as they defeated Cardiff 3-0 at Turf Moor. And yeah, Brownhill, Barnes and Twine with the goals. And yeah, kind of a bit of a party for Burnley here. They were totally dominant. And yeah, celebrating Vincent Kompany's new contract, which of course is such massive news for the football club. And yeah, for Cardiff, obviously disappointing result for them to cap off a disappointing season. But yeah, anyway, this was always going to be a free hit game. Moving on into Wigan 0, Rotherham 0 at the DW. And yeah, Wigan coming into this one, obviously with all the off-field, the pitch chaos, not paying wage and stuff like that, but they actually put in a really good performance here, held on, and yeah, probably had better of the game. Rotherham in the end getting a point. Obviously there's nothing on it, Wigan already down, Rotherham already staying up. So yeah, Rotherham, obviously it's just been a great season for them surviving, so they'll be very, very pleased with that. But yeah, let's say not the greatest game to end the season off here. But moving on then to Vicarage Road, and Watford picked up a 2-0 victory over Stoke. Loser and Davis with the goals for Watford. And yeah, in the end there wasn't a lot in the game really, but Watford were a bit more clinical, and that's what got them the win. Capping off a disappointing season for Stoke. It's been a disappointing season for Watford, no getting away from that either. And yeah, both these teams have a lot of work to do in the summer. So yeah, it's not been the best season, but still two good clubs, and you feel like they could bounce back, really. But moving on into Loftus Road, where it finished QPR 0, Bristol City 2 at Loftus Road. And yeah, it was Sykes and Bell who gave Bristol City a 2-0 load in the 28th and the 55th minute. And yeah, not a lot in the game to be honest. QPR had a lot of goal attempts, but yeah, they were all kind of very low XG. And Bristol City, I would say, deserved the win. Really caps off a disappointing season with QPR. They need a big rebuild. Will Ainsworth be the man to take them forward? Who knows? I think he will, but we'll see. For Bristol City, also an interesting summer coming up for them. But moving on into Sunderland, and they got into the playoffs with an incredible result away at Preston. Diallo with a wonder goal in the 54th minute before Pritchard and Clark in the 61st and 65th minute made it 3-0. And yeah, brilliant performance from Sunderland. Obviously results elsewhere went in their favour, and that secured them a playoff spot. And yeah, what a job Tony Mowbray has done in his first season back in the Championship. Sunderland getting into the playoffs, a huge effort for Preston, a disappointing way to end the season. But moving on into Carrow Road, Norwich 0, Blackpool 1. Rogers with the only goal of the game in the 15th minute. Norwich pushed for an equaliser but couldn't find one of those days really. And yeah, just capping off one of those seasons really. Very disappointing season for Norwich though. David Wagner's got a very big rebuild job if he stays on, who knows. But yeah, Blackpool, good way to go out. New manager showing some promise, I would say. Probably come a bit too late. But yeah, I think they should keep him on for next season. But yeah, Norwich, big rebuild needed. But moving on into Millwall 3, Blackburn 4. The most incredible capitulation that they've done really. Watmore in the 8th minute gave Millwall the lead before Walton in the 22nd minute made it 1-1. Watmore and Burke made it 3-1 before Rankin Costello, Diaz with 2 made it 4-3 to Blackburn. And obviously a bit of an empty feeling for both these teams, even despite Blackburn's incredible comeback. They don't make it into the playoffs, but for Millwall, 3-1 up, cruising, and then just chucking it away like that is just so disappointing. It's just unbelievable what happened, and there needs to be a big inquest into that. But moving on to a team or two teams who did get into the playoffs and will actually be meeting each other. In it, it's Middlesbrough 1, Coventry 1. Hamer in the 32nd minute made it 1-0 to Coventry before Archer in the first half stoppage time made it 1-1. Obviously a bit nervy. One more goal could have seen Coventry drop out the pass, but in the end they didn't. They held on. and got through, got their reward, and yeah, they fully deserve it. For Middlesbrough, it's a bit of a disappointing way to win the season, but for Coventry, fully deserve their first spot, and yeah, it's definitely going to be a good few games between these two. But moving on into Luton, as they continued their playoff preparations with a 0-0 draw against Hull, and yeah, not the best game I've ever seen. I think it's quite a lot of it was Luton kind of resting players for the past, but still remaining unbeaten, and yeah, it was kind of a bit of a drama in the season game. I think Hull will be very happy to take a point at Luton, you'd say. So yeah, that's all you can read into it here. But yeah, for me, Luton just playing so well at the moment. I think they're probably the favourites for the playoffs. But moving on then to Huddersfield 2, Reading 0 at John Smith Stadium. Obviously, if Sheffield United beat Huddersfield over the last time out, it would have been an incredible game here, but in the end it didn't turn out to be that way. Koroma in the 49th minute and Hungbo in the 85th minute gave Huddersfield the win. And yeah, you probably say they were the better side here. Bang off Neil Warnock's reign, and what an incredible job he's done there. As he said, he just doesn't want to be there next February, and it'd be interesting to see if he can avoid it. But for Reading, a disappointing way to end a disappointing season, and yeah, they'll be playing in League One next season. Moving on then to Birmingham 1, Sheffield United 2 at St Andrews, and yeah, it was McBurney and McAtee who made it 2-0. Birmingham got a goal through Sanderson in the 80th minute, but in the end they couldn't get the equaliser, and yeah, disappointing one for Birmingham. But yeah, Sheffield United on the day were probably the better side, celebrating their return to the Premier League, and Birmingham just not at that level yet. But you know, John Eustace, he's not had a bad first season in charge, and definitely something to build on. But Sheffield United will be in the Premier League next year. But anyway, guys, that's it for the video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and comments down below for daily football news. Subscribe, would be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.